అందరికీ నమస్కారం. ఇవాళ మనం ఇక్కడ మాక్సిమం పేరెంట్స్కి, దాదాపు ప్రతి తల్లిదండ్రులకి, పిల్లలకి సంబంధించిన ఒక విషయం గురించి మాట్లాడబోతున్నాము. ప్రశ్న ఏంటంటే, మనం పిల్లల్ని దేనికోసం తయారు చేస్తున్నాము, దేనికోసం వాళ్ళని సిద్ధపరుస్తున్నాము? మన పిల్లల్ని పరీక్షల్లో పాస్ అవటం కోసం సిద్ధం చేస్తున్నామా, లేకపోతే జీవితంలో ముందుకెళ్ళటం కోసం, జీవితాన్ని లివ్ చేయటం కోసాన్ని సిద్ధపెడుతున్నామా? సో ఈ మధ్యకాలంలో మనం చూసింది ఏంటంటే, అందరూ ఆంటర్‌ప్రెన్యూర్ అవుదామని అనుకుంటున్నారు. ఎంతోమంది పేరెంట్స్ని మీరు అడిగితే, మీ పిల్లలు ఏం అవ్వాలి అంటే, మా పిల్లలు ఆంటర్‌ప్రెన్యూర్ అవ్వాలి అనుకుంటున్నారు. ఒక 80% పీపుల్, ఒక చేసిన సర్వేలో 80% పీపుల్ సెడ్ దట్ దే వాంట్ దేర్ చిల్డ్రన్ టు బికమ్ ఆంటర్‌ప్రెన్యూర్స్. కానీ ఆంటర్‌ప్రెన్యూర్ అవటం అంటే ఏంటి? ఆంటర్‌ప్రెన్యూర్ అవటం అంటే ఒక బిజినెస్ స్టార్ట్ చేయటమా? ఆంటర్‌ప్రెన్యూర్ అవటం అంటే డబ్బులు సంపాదించటమా? లేకపోతే ఒక ఐడియా ఉండటమా? లేకపోతే అంతకన్నా చాలా డీపా? ఆర్ వి లుకింగ్ ఎట్ లీడర్షిప్? ఆర్ వి లుకింగ్ ఎట్ ఎబిలిటీ టు మేక్ డెసిషన్? ఆంటర్‌ప్రెన్యూర్షిప్ అంటే ఏంటి? మన పిల్లల్ని కూడా అడిగేస్తే దాదాపు అందరూ నేను ఆంటర్‌ప్రెన్యూర్ అవుదాం అనుకుంటున్నారు. కానీ వాళ్ళకి నిజంగా తెలుసా ఆంటర్‌ప్రెన్యూర్ అవటం అంటే? అందులో ఉన్న రిస్క్స్ ఏంటి, అందులో ఉన్న అన్సర్టనిటీ ఏంటి, అందులో ఉన్న వాళ్ళ రిజాల్వ్ ఏంటి, వాళ్ళ రెసిలియన్స్ ఏంటి, ఇవన్నీ వాళ్ళకి తెలుసా? ఇవన్నీ మాట్లాడుకోవటం కోసమని ఇవాళ మనకి ప్యానెల్లో డాక్టర్ రాఘవేంద్ర హునాస్కి ఉన్నారు, ఇంకా మిస్టర్ సుమంత్ పెంటా. డాక్టర్ రాఘవేంద్ర హునాస్కి, హీఈస్ అ సీరియల్ ఆంటర్‌ప్రెన్యూర్. నాకు తెలిసి ఆయన ఒక 3 కంపెనీస్ స్టార్ట్ చేసి, బిల్డ్ చేసి, ఎగ్జిట్ కూడా చేశారు. అండ్ హీఈస్ డూయింగ్ మెనీ మోర్ లైక్ దట్. And Sumant Penta, he's a mentor, he's a startup mentor, he's an ecosystem builder, and he's also on the panel for the Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji Vikasit Bharat 2047. He's on the panel for the mentorship over there. So we have 2 amazing guests today, and we want to ask them this question. So Dr. Raghav, my first question to you is, ఎవరైనా మిమ్మల్ని ఆంటర్‌ప్రెన్యూర్‌షిప్ అంటే ఏంటి అని అడిగితే మీరు ఏమంటారు?
Vandana garu, thank you so much. Thanks to you, thanks to the Mega9 television channel. I think ఇది చాలా it is the need of the hour అంటారండి. అలాగా it is a very important topic that we have to talk. 2-3 things అండి. ఒకటి, మీరు అన్నట్టు everybody today wants to be an entrepreneur. you go to anybody who is studying in 8th standard, నువ్వు ఏమవుతారా అంటే, I'll go to IIT and then I'll become an entrepreneur అంటాడు. Or he will say, I'll do MBA and I'll become an entrepreneur అంటారు. There used to be a days, మీరు early 90s and 2000s లో, if you remember, అప్పట్లో జనాలందరూ నువ్వు ఏమవుతారా అంటే, everybody wanted to be a software engineer. నేను విప్రోకి వెళ్తాను, నేను ఇన్ఫోసిస్కి వెళ్తాను. దట్ వాస్ ద ట్రెండ్. అండ్ నౌ ద లేటెస్ట్ ట్రెండ్ ఈజ్ entrepreneur, and everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. అండ్ దీంట్లో ఇప్పుడు ఏమవుతుందంటే అండి, మీరు ఇంట్రొడక్షన్లో చెప్పినట్టు, ఒక పాన్ షాప్ పెట్టిన ఆయన కూడా ఆంటర్‌ప్రెన్యూరే, ఒక సైకిల్ షాప్ పెట్టిన ఆయన కూడా ఆంటర్‌ప్రెన్యూరే, ఒక రాకెట్ బిల్డ్ చేస్తున్న కంపెనీ కూడా ఆంటర్‌ప్రెన్యూర్సే. బట్ వాట్ డిఫరెన్షియేట్స్ ఆంటర్‌ప్రెన్యూర్స్? వాట్ ఈస్ ద స్కేల్ ఆఫ్ ఆంటర్‌ప్రెన్యూర్షిప్ అండ్ హౌ డు యూ డిఫైన్ ఆంటర్‌ప్రెన్యూర్షిప్ అనేది చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్ అండి. టుడే అన్ఫార్చునేట్లీ వన్ రాంగ్ యార్డ్ స్టిక్ టు మెజర్ ఆంటర్‌ప్రెన్యూర్షిప్ ఈస్ ద వాల్యుయేషన్స్. ఇప్పుడు అందరు ఆ ట్రాప్లో పడిపోయారండి. ఐఎమ్ $2 billion company, I'm a $4 billion company. Fortunately, by God's grace, last company was a unicorn. Nen build chesina company was the fastest unicorn. But I will tell you, and whether you're building a $100 company or a $1 billion company, the basics, the principles, the fundamentals will all remain same. So if you ask me what is the true definition of entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship is nothing but evaraithe somebody who can create a value and somebody who can create things for the larger good and long term good is a true entrepreneur. And entrepreneur doesn't have to be always CEO, always owner of a company. Entrepreneur can be somebody who is working somewhere and yet doing phenomenal work. There can be people who are working in companies, somebody who is a project manager, somebody who is a sales head, somebody who is a marketing VP, and yet if they are delivering great value, they are all entrepreneurs in their own sense. ఇప్పుడు one more term that is very common is intrapreneurs. So అలాగా, but essentially entrepreneurship is a very it's a buzzword. It is something that everyone wants to do. కానీ దానికి కావాల్సిన సాక్రిఫైస్, దానికి కావాల్సిన హార్డ్ వర్క్, దానికి కావాల్సిన కమిట్మెంట్ is not something that everybody can give in easily. So today in this show, all 3 of us, let's discuss about what it takes to be an entrepreneur and how to build phenomenal entrepreneurs in this country. Yeah.
So I always wanted to ask you this question, sir. You floated a company, మీరు company build చేశారు, and then you exited the company. So I wanted to ask you, how did you exit the company? At what point you thought, why did you think of exiting the company?
It's a very good question, and a lot of, I mean, social media lo chuste meeru, I've been branded as a guy who builds and sells companies very frequently. I think one thing that happens to entrepreneurs and is exit is a very important stage. మనం చాలా మంది we will not know where to stop and where to exit. That is, I tell everybody, whoever wants to start, whoever wants to be an entrepreneur, always have your exit in mind. And exit doesn't mean selling the company. Exit doesn't mean, giving it away. Exit can also mean that you are probably starting ఈ రోజు నేను ఒక గార్మెంట్ ఫ్యాక్టరీ స్టార్ట్ చేశానండి, I can pivot and become world's best socks maker. I can pivot and become world's best mask maker. Anything, but pivoting is very important. ఈ జర్నీలో అండి మీరు అన్నట్టు లాట్ ఆఫ్ us get emotionally attached, especially in our first startup when we built. Every startup is like a kid that you are bringing up, you are taking care, and you are putting your heart, soul, your money, everything into it. Every time I used to think I will exit this company or I will sell this company అన్నప్పుడు అది ఒక విధమైన I used to have this guilt feeling that అది కరెక్టా కాదా అన్నట్టు. But I feel like it happens in our real world. When you have kids, they go to school, they go to college, and at some point they become independent and they leave and they go to better place. Same way company also gets into better hands, better investors, better guardians. And it is good if you are able to make money, if the founding team, if your core team is able to make enough money, and if you want to pivot into a different idea, it is always good to exit. So my advisors have always been little controversial on social media and everywhere, but I always advise people, when you start something, start with an exit in the mind. And like I said, exit can be a full exit, or exit can be pivoting into something else. Yeah, but the decision was not easy, and every time it is very emotional. Every time you build a brand and you walk out of the brand, I'm sure you will agree it is not an easy thing to do. Yeah.
Definitely doesn't sound something easy to do, especially after putting in that kind of efforts, and you will get emotionally connected every now and then. So what about you, Sumant? What do you think? I mean, you must be having so many people, you're on the panel mentoring young people, so you must be having so many people who come to you and who say they want to be entrepreneurs. So what is your first advice, or what is your first question to them?
So thank you Vandana for having me. This is great, great context you've set, and I think it is very timely that we address these things. The first thing, I think, Raghavendra garu cheppinattu, the peripheral elements, ante the బయట నుంచి ఏదైతే కనిపిస్తుందో మనము వాటిని చూసి మనం entrepreneurship అనేది మెజర్ చేస్తాం. So that is the first thing that has to be addressed, which is how meaningful is the problem you're solving. I think that is what entrepreneurship boils down to. Is the problem you're solving meaningful, right? And are you in a position to come up with a solution? And it is a lifelong process. Exit kuda, like Doctor had mentioned, exit is also part of strategy. So this is also an external element that people see. Now, when you mention young people, the most important thing that has to be said, and I try saying it as often as I can, is entrepreneurship is a mindset. You can play entrepreneurship in different theaters. So మనకి నాటకం ప్లే ఉంటుంది కదా, అదొక థియేటర్లో అవుతుంది, ఒక ఆడిటోరియంలో అవుతుంది. ఆ ఆడిటోరియం మారుతుంది కానీ entrepreneurship is still the action you perform. Okay, సో ఆ థియేటర్ ఎప్పుడూ కంపెనీ అవ్వాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు, అది ఎప్పుడు ఒక ఫార్ ప్రాఫిట్ ఇది అవ్వాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. సో మనం యంగ్ పీపుల్ అన్నప్పుడు వాళ్ళ స్కూలే వాళ్ళ థియేటర్ అవ్వచ్చు, ఓకే, లేదా వాళ్ళు చేసే జాబే వాళ్ళ థియేటర్ అవ్వచ్చు. ఓకే, సో when I used to study, I never spent more than 20 minutes sitting to study, not more than 20 minutes in one stretch ever, but I had a process of studying, which is, I thought, why can I not do it entrepreneurially? సో నేనేం చేసేవాడిని, మా సబ్జెక్ట్ లిస్ట్ ఉంటుంది కదా, చాప్టర్స్, ఐ యూస్ టు డిమార్కేట్ దెమ్ ఇంటూ 3 categories. కేటగిరీ A, B, C. ఏ కేటగిరీ ఏంటంటే నేను అసలు ఎప్పుడు ముట్టుకోలేదు, అంటే చాప్టర్ నేమ్ కూడా తెలియదు. ఓకే, బి కేటగిరీ ఏంటంటే నాకు చాప్టర్ నేమ్ తెలుసు కానీ అంతగా కంప్లీట్గా చదవలేదు. సి కేటగిరీ ఏంటంటే చాప్టర్ నేమ్ తెలుసు, కంప్లీట్గా చదవలేదు. సో ఒక స్టూడెంట్గా నా ఎయిమ్ ఏమి ఉండేది, నా చాప్టర్స్ ఫినిష్ చేయడం నా ఎయిమ్ కాదు. ఎన్ని చాప్టర్స్ నేను ఏ నుంచి బికి వెళ్ళగలుగుతాను, ఎన్ని చాప్టర్స్ నేను బి నుంచి సికి వెళ్ళగలుగుతాను. సో దిస్ ఇస్ హౌ అన్ ఆంటర్ప్రినర్ థింక్స్. ఓకే, కానీ నాకు అప్పుడు ఏమీ కంపెనీ లేదు. ఓకే, బట్ నేను ఆ ఏజ్ లో ఉన్నప్పుడు దట్ థియేటర్ ఐ టర్న్డ్ ఇట్ ఇంటూ అన్ ఆంటర్ప్రినోరియల్ థియేటర్. సో ఇప్పుడున్న స్టూడెంట్స్ కి వీ నీడ్ టు బిల్డ్ అండ్ క్రియేట్ దట్ థియేటర్. వీ నీడ్ టు బిల్డ్ దట్ ఎన్వైరన్మెంట్. అక్కడ వాళ్ళు దే హ్యావ్ టు కమ్ అప్ విత్ ద దే హ్యావ్ టు బి పుట్ ఇన్ అ సిచ్యువేషన్ వేర్ వాళ్ళు ఆ డెసిషన్ తీసుకునేలాగా దే హ్యావ్ టు బి కంపెల్డ్. సో అండ్ దట్ ఈస్ ద ప్రాసెస్ దట్ ఐఎమ్ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ కరెంట్లీ.
సో సార్, ఈ దిస్ ట్రైనింగ్ రైట్, మన స్కూల్స్లో బాగానే చదువుతాం, దానికి ఏం లేదు. స్కూల్స్ టు ఎవ్రీథింగ్ టు ఇంపార్ట్ వాట్ ఎవర్ ఇస్ దేర్ ఇన్ ద బుక్స్. పిల్లలు కూడా చాలా కష్టపడతారు. స్కూల్కి వెళ్తారు, ట్యూషన్స్కి వెళ్తారు, క్లాసెస్కి వెళ్తారు, కోచింగ్కి వెళ్తారు, ఆఫ్టర్ క్లాస్, బిఫోర్ క్లాస్, ఇంకా అంతులేన చదువులు అవి యాక్చువల్లీ. కానీ ఇలాంటి ట్రైనింగ్ మన స్కూల్కి, ఐ థింక్ ఉన్న స్కూల్స్కి ఉన్న బర్డెన్కి దే రియలీ కెనాట్ లుక్ ఇన్ టు ఇట్ ఆల్సో. దే హ్యావ్ అ లాట్ టు కవర్. సో ఇస్ సంథింగ్ లీడర్షిప్, ఈ డెసిషన్ మేకింగ్, ఈ మీరు రిస్క్ తీసుకోవటం, అన్సర్టనిటీ, రెసిలియన్స్, ఈ సాక్రిఫైస్, ఇలాంటివి ఇస్ ఇట్ సంథింగ్ విచ్ కెన్ బీ టాట్? అది పిల్లలకి నేర్పేదా? చిన్న అంటే ఎంత పిల్లలకి నేర్పాలి? 5 ఏళ్ళ పిల్లలకి నేర్పాలా? 10 ఏళ్ళ పిల్లలకి నేర్పాలా? ఎలా? హౌ డూ యూ కమ్ టు దిస్? డూ యూ థింక్ ఇట్ ఇస్ సంథింగ్ విచ్ ఇస్ టీచబుల్ అండ్ విచ్ ఇస్ టు చిల్డ్రన్?
I think you made a very beautiful point. Is it trainable? The answer is yes. And మీరు అన్నట్టు, I mean, I keep saying this in all podcasts and everywhere I go. One fundamental mistake that we have done is we have created a lot of pressure cookers. And today, even when you look at kids, nobody cares how many Olympic gold medals are we getting, or how many events are they getting trained and all of that. The only challenge that parents, everybody wants to know is how much have you scored in physics, how much have you scored in chemistry, English lo ento ochindi, mathematics lo ento ochindi, neeku MSET lo seat vastada, JEE mains lo seat vastada. I think for a very long time as a economy and as a country, we have started measuring people on the wrong yardstick. Adi kaakunda ippudu meer annattu, can the student lead as a person? Can he lead a life and thrive in uncertainty? Can he survive when he's thrown multiple challenges? And how good are they at the problem solving skills? These are all very important. And there are very disturbing facts. For example, ee mana rajyamlo gaani or deshamlo meer chuste, the suicide rates rate in students is very, very high. Students end their life just because they didn't make it to IIT. Students end their life just because they didn't score well. Students are dying for very stupid and nonsense reasons. Ante the value of life has gotten down so bad. అరే వీడికి ఏదో కాలేజ్లో, పెద్ద కాలేజ్లో సీట్ దొరకలేదని వెళ్ళి బిల్డింగ్ మీద వెళ్ళి దూకేస్తారని. అంటే వీ హ్యాడ్ అ వెరీ tragic incident even in the community where we live and all of that. So what does it show? It shows that everybody, the parents, the peers, the friends, everybody's started measuring things in a very wrong way and in a wrong method. But fortunately things are changing. I truly appreciate the initiative that you are running, that EBS is running. ఈ టీన్ ఆంటర్ప్రినర్షిప్ కానీ, టీన్ సిఇఓ, టీన్ లీడర్ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ ఏదైతే చేస్తున్నారో, దీస్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ థింగ్స్ ఆర్ నెససరీ అండి. ఇన్ఫ్యాక్ట్ దీస్ షుడ్ బికమ్ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద స్కూల్స్ కరికులం. I mean, I know your institution is doing a lot of great things in structuring these programs. You're bringing great resource persons like him who are like actually training kids and creating simulations and environments where they will face these challenges. But we should go one level deep and see how can we integrate this in a very seamless way. Idi cheste we will be building beautiful next generation of leaders in our country. And meeru ante we have had these discussions off cameras also many times. Why does India not have its own Twitter? Why did we not build Google? Why did we not build Microsoft? Why did we not build the next best electric car in the world? That is because we have always been in the mindset of, can I score well, get a nice job? If I am able to earn 5 lakh rupees a month, buy 1 3-bedroom apartment and a car, I am considered as successful in the societal yardstick, right? How many kids or students today think I should go out and build something where it is world class, phenomenal, where I am able to hire hundreds of people? Chaala takku mandi atla alochistharandi. Now the shift is happening. Now the youth is thinking about being entrepreneurs. So but the long story short, and it is definitely trainable. Like he said, entrepreneurship is a mindset. We need to tell people that, boss, you are not meant to sit 9 to 5 and do a stupid job and earn salary. You are meant to build something phenomenal. And out of 100 people, if 10 of them also succeed, Andy, I think we have achieved as a nation, as a society, great results.
So yeah, since you mentioned the Teen CEO program, you must have, you were a jury member, so you have definitely seen those kids, and Sumant, you have also seen those kids. So what I observed is, మనం పిల్లల్ని ఎప్పుడు ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్స్గా వీఆర్ గివింగ్ దెమ్, వీఆర్ టెలింగ్ దెమ్ ఇట్లా కాన్సెప్ట్స్, బట్ వెన్ యూ పుట్ దెమ్ ఇన్ రియల్ పొజిషన్స్ ఆఫ్ రెస్పాన్సిబిలిటీ, లైక్ యూ సెడ్, ద టీమ్ CEO వాజ్ అ ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఫుల్లీ ఎండల్జ్డ్ ఇన్ యాక్టివిటీస్ అండ్ సిమ్యులేషన్. డే 1లో కంపెనీ ఫామ్ చేసి అందరు రోల్స్ తీసుకోవటము, ఒకరు CEO అవటం, ఒకరు CFO అవటంతో వాళ్ళ మీద రెస్పాన్సిబిలిటీ ఉన్నప్పుడు వాళ్ళ పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ ఇస్ అద్భుతంగా ఉంది. ఇట్ వాస్ సర్ప్రైజింగ్ ఫర్ సమ్ పీపుల్. వాళ్ళు తీసుకున్న డెసిషన్స్, ఇన్ఫ్యాక్ట్ వన్ ఆఫ్ ద దే వర్ ఇంటూ ఎవ్రీథింగ్. దే వర్ ఇంటూ ఎడ్టెక్ కంపెనీస్ ఫ్లోట్ చేశారు, దే వర్ ఇంటూ కన్జ్యూమర్ టెక్, దే వర్ ఇంటూ ఫుడ్ టెక్నాలజీ, దే వర్ ఇంటూ ఫ్యాషన్. ప్రతి రకాల ద వే దే కేమ్ అప్ విత్ సొల్యూషన్స్. సో ఐ థింక్ మనం ఒక రైట్ ఎన్వైరన్మెంట్లో పిల్లల్ని, వెన్ యూ పుట్ దెమ్ ఇన్ దట్ రైట్ ఎన్వైరన్మెంట్, సేఫ్ ఎన్వైరన్మెంట్ యాజ్ వెల్, పిల్లలు కాబట్టి, సేఫ్ ఎన్వైరన్మెంట్ అండ్ రైట్ ఎన్వైరన్మెంట్ వెన్ యూ క్రియేట్, అండ్ దెన్ యూ త్రో ఛాలెంజెస్ ఆన్ దెమ్. వాళ్ళ కేపబిలిటీస్, వాళ్ళ సామర్థ్యం it's unimaginable. I think parents will also be surprised to see, any parent will surprised to see, how their kids perform when they're in that environment. మనం చాలా డిఫరెంట్గా చూస్తాం మన పిల్లల్ని, but when you actually see, so did you have a similar experience, sir? Have you seen?
I love the whole content and course that was delivered. I love the way Sumant had structured it and the way they kind of created those environment for kids, the teen leader program or the teen CEO programs and all of that. And I'm of a very, very sincere opinion that we should do more of this. I don't care whether the kid scores 80%, 90%, 100%, and if they have life and survival skills, they will do phenomenally well. You take any Ivy League schools, and I was very fortunate, I went to Harvard. You take any Ivy League schools today, they don't care about marks, and they care, but marks is only 40-50% of your application. What extracurriculars have you done? What impact have you created in society? Have you done any not-for-profit work? Have you done any impact work? Have you created any companies? Have you been a CEO? Have you been a volunteer? Have you helped old age people? Anything that you have done outside the box is what they look at. And I think that is how we should look at the overall growth of the personality of our leaders and teen CEOs than just measuring them with the marks and the curriculum and all of that, Andy. What do you think? What do you say?
I think when you were saying that also, I think one of the strongest suits of entrepreneurs is humility. It teaches you humility. You realize how going to Harvard was just a fleeting, one of the things. Because by being an entrepreneur, your horizon of life grows so much that becomes one of the many things you got to do in life. So that is the benefit of expanding this theater. And like you said, we're entering a world. So when you say teenagers, they must be currently between 13 and 17, 18, 19, right? By the time they get to 24 or 25, it is going to be 2032, 2033. So we have to prepare them for the world of 2030s, for the world of the 2040s, while we're in 2026. So to expand their theater, and at that time, now information is easy. మీకు ఏది కావాలన్నా ఇప్పుడు a 9-year-old child can download an entire encyclopedia. So by expansion of theater, the environment matters more, because they might be downloading I can download an encyclopedia, but that will not make me a top surgeon. What makes me a top surgeon is how many repetitions I have of doing the same thing for years. So ఇప్పుడు ఒకళ్ళు CEO అవ్వాలంటే how many times have they been put in a situation where they had to operate like a CEO? I think that is the strongest suit of what you're building at EBS. And and part of the design also is don't give your children plan A. Don't give your children plan A. Don't tell them the outcome that they're supposed to come out with. Have a plan B, have a plan C, but tell your children plan A is the plan that they make. Right? So that is the pedagogical model at EBS.
That's a very good point, sir. But is this meant for everyone? That's my question. Being an entrepreneur, like, does anyone, should everyone get into a team? We are doing a team CEO course. Should everyone get into a team CEO and become, develop? Can everyone develop those skills? Can everyone become an entrepreneur tomorrow, a CEO tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, it's a brilliant question, and the straightforward answer is no. Not everybody is cut out to become a CEO. Leadership is needed in all walks of life. To be a great father, a great son, a great CEO, a great entrepreneur, or a great software developer, whatever they are doing, they have to be a great leader. Being a great surgeon, I mean, for whatever career they choose, leadership is very common and it is very important for them to thrive. But not everybody will end up becoming CEOs. And I'll tell you, few very humbling facts. Zebu, the previous company that I built, which became a Unicom, I built just an we were sponsoring a lot of crazy things. I mean, we were also the F1 sponsors for 2 years in a row. We spent millions of dollars on all the sponsorships. అది సరైనదా కాదా అనేది that separate debate. But media covered all of that. And ఇప్పుడు ఈ రోజు కూడా when you Google my name, that is what you will see. Oh, these guys sponsored these large events. They sponsored kickboxing. They sponsored what a amazing life they are living. అంటే we had offices across 9-10 different countries, అన్ని most lavish locations లో all of that. What world doesn't tell people and what it doesn't show is when you are bootstrapped, when you are starting the company, as a CEO, I also have to worry about is electricity bill paid or not? Are there enough supply of water bottles in my office or not? Are things taken care? అంటే ఇది చెప్తున్నప్పుడు ఇదేం చాలా సిల్లీ అనిపిస్తుంది అండి. బట్ the person who wants to become CEO, while there are a lot of great things they enjoy good wealth, they enjoy good brand, limelight, all of that, there is also enough or more burden that they carry till they become famous and successful. And like I said, నేను ఇది ఎప్పుడు చెప్తుంటానండి, my life is a story of grace. It's God's grace that things worked out for me. But there are a lot of failed entrepreneurs. It is not that they didn't try hard. They have tried hard. They have done everything possible. They did all right things, but just that maybe the timing was wrong. Maybe they didn't get investors at the right time. I know many peer founders and who worked with me while in T-Hub, while in San Francisco, built great products. వాళ్ళకు నెట్వర్క్ లేకపోయేసరికి వాళ్ళకి ఫండింగ్ లేకపోయి they just the company died a very bad death. But I mean, I always say failed entrepreneurs are always great hires. They go out and do again great things. But yeah, not everybody should aspire to be a CEO. అది నిన్న మనం ఈవెంట్లో కూడా అదే చెప్పాను కదండి, don't get too attached to your titles. It doesn't matter you call yourself CEO, CFO. Always every day see how much dent I am making to my project and my company. Are we moving forward? That's all they need to care about. Titles are just there, and today you are CEO, tomorrow you can be CFO, or day after you can be a humble pensioner retired with a nice exit money. But as long as we are making that dent, that's what matters. But the answer to that question is you're right, and not if everybody in the world becomes CEO, then who will work, who will run the show? Everybody has to have leadership skills and let them do best in whatever they choose to be. I think that is what will shape a phenomenal society and a nation.
So how does the student approach that? పిల్లలు ఒక స్టేజ్లో ఎవ్రీవన్, ఇప్పుడు మీరు చెప్పినట్టు వెన్ వీ వర్ ఇన్ కాలేజ్ అండ్ ఆల్, ఎవ్రీవన్ అందరూ సాఫ్ట్వేర్ ఇంజనీర్సే. ఎవరైనా సాఫ్ట్వేర్ ఇంజనీర్ అయిపోవాలని, వాళ్ళకి యాప్టిట్యూడ్ ఉందా లేదా, అవసరం ఉందా, ఇష్టం ఉందా, సంబంధం లేకుండా అందరూ సాఫ్ట్వేర్. See, it is a similar trend we are seeing now, right? Similar trend. Software engineers, it's a job. There are plenty of companies, and మీరు జాబ్ మీరు వెళ్ళి 9 to 5 కూర్చుని చేస్తే 90% people will get their salaries and they'll come back home. Entrepreneurship is not like that. The risk factor is much higher over here. The uncertainty is much higher. Then extent of qualities you need. అంటే మన సాఫ్ట్వేర్ ఇంజనీర్ అవ్వడానికి మనం కాలేజ్కి వెళ్ళి మళ్ళీ 2 కోర్సులు చేసి నేర్చుకుని అయిపోవచ్చు. Okay, with at least you will live your life. But this is not like that, right? There is so much at stake. So how do you advise students? I mean, oka student vachi nenu this for me ani ante, how has he to test? Do you think early testing is a good thing? Early testing and the ability to fail early, recoup early, learn early. Like, but how would you put this? I mean,
that's a very important point, and I'll also let him comment, but I'll just give you 2 things. One, I always tell everybody, Andy, the easiest way to succeed in life is fail fast and fail forward. As long as you're doing it, it is absolutely fine. And I'll tell you, Andy, this is a survey done by Harvard Business Review, and then it's a very nice survey. Most successful sales leaders in the world are the people who have got maximum number of rejections. What does it mean? It means they have tried 500 times before they became successful. The guy who has not even tried will never be successful. The difference is the guy who has faced highest rejections is also prepared to be the most successful. And when I was building my second company, it was called Thought Folks. When we were building Thought Folks, we wanted to do fundraising and మా funds anta got dried up very soon. So we wanted to go raise capital. Before we got our pre-series A check, a sizable number, we pitched it to 174 investors, which means 174 people rejected me, saying ఈ idea బాలేదు, maybe this guy is not good, maybe this product is not good, maybe the market is not good. But what I feel helped us the most is every rejection I took it as a challenge, and every rejection I used to enjoy. Okay, out of the 500 VCs we are going to, one is knocked out, let's go to the second one, third one, fourth one. After 100 plus, almost everybody in the team gave up. Some of them, one of my co-founder left saying, Endra nakanta patience led, I cannot keep getting that smile every day on the face, go and pitch the same thing. But eventually, when we raised money, when we started becoming big, some of the guys who rejected us in the past came back and said, now we want to invest, we will give you a check. And they became, so what happens is, it is a journey. And the guys, according to me, oka perfect CEO avvalante, oka perfect entrepreneur avvalante andi, his threshold of taking failures and no's and getting hit every single time, and then how quickly can you get up and rebounds and again go back with a smile with the pitch deck is what defines. And that is something that we should train our kids. Like I was telling you, kids are very sensitive. The next generation people are so sensitive. Their ability to handle a no and a rejection is very, very low. I think that is one thing that we should probably focus on training people. But yeah, I mean, I'll let you comment more on this.
No, absolutely. And as you were speaking, I was getting reminded of some of the students we spoke to yesterday, and the parents, they started to see their children as entirely, having entirely different personalities.
Yeah.
In the last 10 days, their entire life. They were saying, I've never seen my child this way. I've never seen my child say these things, do these things.
Yeah.
And that distinction, the only distinction was the children were believed in, that belief was placed in them and in what they can do. And that has created a shift in what they were able to do so far, and the way they're able to do things now. And I think instilling that belief is a coordinated, is a structured, it requires coordination, it requires structure. So I think that kind of structure is something that we bring in.
Because of the environment that was created, the program which you're talking about was ran on real. It ran like a real world, where people created real problems, real companies. So they felt very real. They went back and they were researching very real. So it's actually. It was. Thank you, Doctor. I think we have to close in because of the time, but thank you, Sumant. But if you can give one line of advice to parents, if you want parents to say, like, if someone asks you, we have a program. People ask us, why do we need to do a teen CEO program? Why can't we do a robotics program? Yeah. So if one advice to parents you want to give, how to nurture their children who want to become entrepreneur, just one line advice.
I'll take the liberty to say three things, Andy. First advice to the parents is, please don't templatize your kids and don't measure them with a wrong yardstick. Let them do whatever they want to do. I mean, I keep telling this to everybody. You can be the greatest guitarist, you can be the greatest, painter, you can be the greatest bartender that this world have seen. Just become the greatest. Strive to be the top 1%, and please don't force them. I mean, I have nothing against IITs, I have nothing against premium education institutions. In fact, when I say this, people, jara naakatar nu anni chesi PhD chesi IIM ke anni chesi ippudu cheptavu. See, I went there because our family was driven like that, and we were all asked to do it. We didn't have the liberty to, so I went and did. I mean, if I can go back and change something, I would have probably not even, from my 12th, I would have built a company and did something different. So I ask, one suggestion to parents is, please encourage your kids in whatever they are good at. And there are so many career options, there are so many options to make business out of, and they will do phenomenally well. Second thing is, everything requires training, and nobody becomes Usain Bolt overnight. They have to run and rerun and run like hundreds and thousands of times is when they become great. I think they need to choose an institution and a platform like yours where they get trained and keep putting them through a rigor, and then they will be able to do it. Third and most important advice to the entrepreneurs and parents is, please don't take life too seriously. It's not worth it. Just enjoy living the life, and everything will fall in place. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Raghav. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Mega9, for this wonderful opportunity. And I think parents and students, I hope you have learned enough today on being an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur అవ్వాలి అంటే ఒక ఐడియా ఉంటే చాలదు, ఏదో కంపెనీ ఫ్లోట్ చేయటం కాదు. మీరు అంతకన్నా డీప్లీ ఆలోచించండి. థింక్ అబౌట్ వాట్ ఈస్ రిక్వైర్డ్ టు బీ అన్ ఆంటర్ప్రినర్. సార్ ఇస్ గివెన్ యూ అ లాట్ ఆఫ్ గైడెన్స్ ఆన్ ఇట్. మీ క్రియేటివిటీ కాదు, మీ రెసిలియన్స్ ఎంత, మీ అన్సర్టనిటీలో మీకున్న ధైర్యం ఎంత, రిస్క్ ఎంత, మీ రిస్క్ అపెటైట్ ఎంత, మీరు ఎంత కష్టపడగలుగుతారు, ఎన్ని సాక్రిఫైజెస్ ఇవ్వగలుగుతారు. దెర్ ఇస్ అ లాట్ విచ్ గోస్ ఇన్. And thank you very much, guests, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.